It wasn't enough for Satan to take Job's substance and his precious children. He wanted to kill Job, but first he wanted to rob him of his faith by physical and mental torment. So he moved through his wife and his friends. Saints, in case you haven't noticed, Satan doesn't give up easily when it comes to attempting to steal our faith. And he wasn't about to give up on his goal to destroy the faith of our brother Job either. Again there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. Once again the Lord asked Satan where he had been, and he said, "Going to and fro in the earth, walking up and down in it." Satan is still as a roaring lion, roaming about, seeking those whom he may devour. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity? Although thou movest me against him, to destroy him without a cause." And Satan answered the Lord and said, "Skin for skin, all that a man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face." And the Lord said unto Satan, "Behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life." So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. Job then took a broken piece of pottery and scraped his body, and sat down among the ashes. As horrific as this photo may be for you, this young lady's body is not entirely covered with boils, as was Job's. Many could have compassion for her, yet many do not have enough compassion for our brother Job. Then said his wife unto him, "Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God, and die." But he said unto her, "Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What, shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? The word of God says, in all this Job did not sin with his lips." Now when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place, Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. For they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, and they rent every one his mantle, and sprinkled dust upon their heads towards heaven. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spake a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. Saints, this is where Job's 3 friends should have been willing to maintain their empathy for him. However, they lost patience with Job when he began to voice his despair. Saints, we are to suffer long with one another and be kind. It is a mark of the fruit of the Spirit. Grief is a long process with many stages. People voice many things in their grief and despair. We must be willing to suffer long and be kind, lest we also be tempted. In his time of utter despair, Job stated that he wished he had never been born. Eliphaz was the first of Job's friends to address him with the counsel of his own heart and not a word from God's own heart. Eliphaz said, "Remember, I pray thee, who ever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Despise not the chastising of the Almighty." Eliphaz went on, "You have comforted others. Why do you now not take your own advice? Job was a man like us. He was too overwhelmed with grief to remember the words he had extended to others in their time of need." God was not chastising or correcting Job. He was being tried, that he might come forth as gold,